everybody. Welcome back to another week of Celebrate Wonder. This week we are learning about Jesus calming the storm. And we talked a little bit about it on our Zoom. And we're going to see what it means for Jesus to calm the storm in a story and how we can apply that to our life and how we can trust Jesus even in the stormiest of situations. Let's get started.
Could this be the place? Could we be the ones? Could it really happen like you said? 'Cause we don't see the way where you're coming from. Sometimes it's hard to trust your promises. All we see is mystery and things that seem impossible. But through every question, we can see that you give us reason to believe. 'Cause we can see your face in every inch of sky. There is proof in every single star. Your promises are spread all above our head, so we can't even see them in the dark. And so we wait, we have faith. Soon the laughter will break out. Through every question, we can see that you give us reason to believe. A day will come, a time and place, when you will carry out your promises. A brand new song, a brand new name, a brand new day to celebrate. Through every question, we can see that you give us reason to
Greetings, I'm Samuel. In today's story, Jesus is in a boat with his disciples. After a long day of teaching, Jesus is tired and is ready to cross the lake. When he gets in the boat, Jesus falls asleep. While he's sleeping, a storm comes and rocks the boat back and forth. The disciples get really scared. I would be too. They wake up Jesus and ask him how he can sleep when the boat is rocking so hard. Jesus tells the wind to calm down, and the waters became calm again. Whoa! The disciples are amazed. After Jesus calms the storm, he says to the disciples, "Why are you frightened? Don't you have faith yet?" In this moment, Jesus reminds us that our faith is not just important during good times. Jesus shows us to have faith when things are hard, too. One time, the power went out in my house, and I was in my room alone. And I was really scared because I don't like the dark. I left my room and went to find my parents. I always feel safe with them. And I knew I would feel better when I got to them. When I got to their room, they gave me a big hug and reminded me that I would be okay. They also gave me a flashlight, which made the dark not as scary. After they gave me the flashlight, they told me this story. My dad said the disciples were scared in their storm too. Jesus came and he calmed it. Jesus also reminded them to have faith, even when it's hard too. I was still a little scared, but the story gave me hope. My parents took out more flashlights so that we could make shadow animals on the wall with them. I realized everything was okay, even though it started off scary. Jesus shows us what to do in difficult times, in times of trouble. We can use Jesus as a guide. This can be hard when you're afraid and you don't know what to do. Remember, Jesus is with us in every situation. Whether you are feeling really good or having a really hard time, even when it's hard, we can have faith. Now it's your turn to wonder.
Grab the Celebrate Wonder Bible Storybook. We're reading from Mark, chapter 4, verse 35 through 41. It's in the New Testament, in the second half of the book. See if you can find it yourself. If you haven't found it yet, it's on page 178 and 179. It says, Jesus calms the storm. Jesus had been teaching the crowds all day. Jesus said to his followers, "Let's go across the other side of the lake." They took a boat out into the water. Big, strong winds began blowing the water against and into the boat. The disciples were scared, but Jesus was asleep in the back of the boat. The disciples woke Jesus up and said, "Teacher, don't you care that we're drowning?" Jesus got up and told the winds to be silent and still. The wind settled down and everything was calm. Jesus asked the disciples, "Why are you afraid? Don't you have faith?" The disciples were filled with wonder because of what Jesus had done. They looked at each other and said, "Who is this man? The wind and the sea obey him." I wonder, have you ever been afraid? What did you do to calm your fear?
Hey everybody, it's Miss Nicole. In this week's Bible lesson, we learned about Jesus calming the storm. And this storm, we learn about the disciples go out in a boat with Jesus and they're excited for a fishing trip, and then a storm hits. And look how scared and afraid all of those people are, except Jesus who's sleeping. And they're trying to wake him up and they don't know what to do, and they're probably yelling and screaming, shouting, and they're so scared that they probably can't think of anything to do. um, we know how the rest of the story goes, so it leads us to the back page when you can tell that they're very happy, relaxed, calm, as Jesus has stopped the storm. So this activity for the preschool and kindergartners, this is actually a puzzle, and you're going to take the pieces out, and you're going to do the calm side and the stormy side. So you actually have two puzzles in one. You might need help with this puzzle because it's flimsy paper, as you can see. Taking the puzzle pieces out, I would ask for some help with that, and then you can create the two puzzles. I am also today going to talk about our family activity book. This week's activity is really great, and this is good for all kids and adults. Um, in the spiritual practice, it talks about um, the disciples in the storm a little bit here. And it says that the disciples were afraid of the storm, and sometimes we get afraid too. So it says, when life gets scary and we're afraid, we can call on Jesus to calm us down. And it gives a little exercise for us to try. And I think this is something that we all could do. And the spiritual practice for the week is that to close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, it says to say, I'm not afraid. Jesus will keep me safe. And then it says to repeat it. So I would do it 2 or 3 times. Um, we might get scared at night if we hear a storm. We might get scared or nervous about doing something new. We might be worried about something. And this is a great way to kind of help us through the day and for us to remember that we aren't alone, that Jesus is with us and he's going to help us through whatever hard time we're having. Also, the deep breaths really help us to kind of calm ourselves. So I suggest we try this. Everybody try it. And I'm going to use it this week too as I get ready to start my new job. So have a great week and I will see you soon.
Glad you can join us again. We're talking about Jesus calming the storm. A great story. Put yourself in the disciples' sandals, or bare feet in this case, on what you would do if this were happening to you. This miracle is different than a lot of them we hear. First of all, he's not healing anybody or making them walk or getting rid of a disease or helping them to see. This is not even on land. Jesus is doing a miracle that is over wind and rain and something even bigger, controlling part of the universe. So this is a little bit different. He was asleep. This is the first miracle we've heard about where Jesus was asleep on a cushion in a boat. Picture perfect time on the lake until the storm came up. The disciples were scared to death, as we would be if we were in their place. Oftentimes we are scared of things just like they are. Jesus calmed the storm and made the disciples wonder, who is this person that even the wind and the sea obey him? Sometimes that's just like us. We're supposed to be wondering through all these lessons in Sunday school. Who is this Jesus that has so much calm and control? Jesus asked why they didn't have more faith in him. Just like us. Oftentimes we're scared. We go to Jesus and need more faith to believe. All of us are like that. That's nothing new or different. But the disciples were firsthand followers of Jesus. But in many ways, they were a lot like us. They loved Jesus. They got scared. They prayed to him, woke him up actually. Help in that storm was needed. help in our storms are needed too. Our storms are very different. We're not usually out in a boat in the middle of a storm, but we have our own storms. We have this whole COVID thing, whether it's the health part and people we know are hurting, or whether it's the remote part and people are hurting through that as well, or whether it's family things that just being in the house too much too long is a storm just waiting to happen. We have our own storms. We need to say, wake up, Jesus, in my life and give me more faith. I want you to think about this as you wonder this week about the story. And your assignment, in addition to the page we'll talk about, is how did Jesus guide us in this storm? We're on the word guide for these lessons, and I want you to think how Jesus was asleep. Okay, your page has one page of different places in the New Testament where this story is told. 3 different books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Now, if you have a Bible bigger than the Storybook Bible, they're asking you to look up these verses. You may need a little help from mom or dad or grandma and grandpa, and see how the story is different in each one. Look at all my notes on this. I came to the conclusion that the stories are very, very, very much alike. And see if you can find what the differences are, or what one writer might mention that the others don't. But if you can't do that, it's okay, because there's not an awful lot of difference. And I'll tell you the truth, the answer sheet to this book is missing for this page, so I couldn't even see what it was they were trying to get at. But it is interesting that it's recorded by 3 different writers of the Bible in 3 different books. On the back is an information sheet about clouds. And I want you to read that. It wants you to draw some pictures of clouds. I would suggest you draw some pictures of clouds that you might see. You know how you look for shapes and stuff in the sky sometimes? Draw those kinds of clouds to see what you come up with. And see if we can figure out how we can strengthen our faith through the storms that we go through day by day. Thanks for taking time with us. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss Nicole and Mrs. Baldwin. It can be hard to really trust Jesus in some scary and dangerous situations. But we've also learned that the more that we pray and that we talk to God, we can build that faith and we can build that trust. So I have our Wonder Cube. Think about the story that Miss Nicole read to us from our Celebrate Wonder Bible storybook, and see if we can answer this and think about this and wonder about this week. I wonder, it's just like last week's. What is the most important part of the Bible story? Think about what Miss Nicole read us and where we can find it in our Celebrate Wonder Bible storybooks. What is the most important part of the story? I've already got some ideas brewing in here, so that's wonderful. So now also is our time for our prayer requests. And what I love about our Sunday school community is we are praying for each other. We are learning to pray in front of each other. We are learning how to pray, whether we are together or not. And this week's prayer request list, these kids want to pray for grown-ups, which I think is absolutely wonderful. So let us be in the spirit of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together. Lord, over the past few weeks, thank you for showing us and reassuring us that praying is really just talking to somebody that loves us so, so very much. We find comfort and security in knowing that. Lord, thank you for letting us know that we can't pray a wrong way, that you want to build that relationship with us. And as we've learned through the lesson today, that you can carry us and protect us even through the scariest of storms. And Lord, we've realized that some of our current events, like this whole COVID-19 thing, can really feel like that big stormy boat ride we learned in the story. Lord, we'd like to lift up a few people in prayer. We'd like to lift up Miss Nicole as she starts her new job this week. Help remind her that you are with her in that exciting and maybe scary time. Lord, we also want to lift up Wyatt's mom, who's starting a new job this week. Very exciting things, very exciting things. Lord, please continue to keep our entire church family in your prayers. Lord, help us to share the good news about you in Jesus with our friends. In your son's name, amen. See you soon.